Hello, welcome to this video. I feel like I've got an interesting background here, but I love everything in it. My plants, my candle, got some crystals back there. Anyways, so this video I wanted to make because I've been going through changes in my personal life and especially my passions and my interests. And I used to make a lot of content on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. And then in the past few months, I've kind of taken myself away from that. I got burnt out and yeah, so I wanted to take some time away from making content. And now I want to talk about the one insight that I've really learned and come to, and it gives me a lot of inner peace. So I want to share that with you. If your passions are changing, if your interests are changing, and if you kind of just feel confused and frustrated about who you are, it's probably because you have changed and you're trying to still identify as a past version of yourself. So like, for example, I used to be into band a lot. I played clarinet, I did marching band, jazz band, all the bands. And it was my life for at least like 4 years. It was huge in my life. And so that was a huge part of my identity. But then over the time span of college, I started going away from band and my interests changed. And when your interests change like that, and maybe something that you used to be into a lot, like it kind of like fades away more from your life as you start a new phase of life, it can be kind of sad or confusing. And I feel like that's where some internal tension comes from. And yeah, so I guess I'll be bringing in some elements of psychology into this because that is what I just graduated in, psychology. And so there's this thing called cognitive dissonance, which is where your actions that you're taking each day aren't matching your beliefs, your values. And so that can create like a dissonance in your mind, and that can play out in like, I don't know, maybe you're holding more feelings in than usual because you're not acting the way that is in alignment with you anymore, but you don't know who you are currently. So if you're someone who's in your 20s, you know what I'm talking about, but this could be at any point in your life where you just know something is different about yourself, and you're not that different. Like, you're not a completely different person, but old things that you used to enjoy, just, I don't know, you just kind of move past them, and new things are exciting you, but you also want to stay the same person you used to be. So this can come up when you are around old friends, people who you went to high school with or whatever, and you feel like you need to show up as the old version of yourself. Meanwhile, you've changed and you've gone through a lot of new experiences, so you're a different person, and that can create a clash in your mind. And so this is something I've gone through a lot because I think that for a while I was a chameleon, like a chameleon personality type, where I would adapt to whatever friend group I was in, and I would take on kind of like the traits that are within that group more to fit in more. And so I'm still working on finding my identity, but what I've learned recently is I gotta keep allowing myself to change. And if something I used to be interested in just doesn't excite me as much, then that's okay. And I've gone, well, I'm trying to think of a specific example for that. I was really into making a lot of spiritual content for a while, and I still love spirituality, and I'm still figuring out like what exactly I want to make content about. But it's like the things I was speaking about 6 months ago, and the things that I was talking about, like I still resonate with it, but it's not what I want to talk about anymore. Like, I want to move on to something different. So that's what I mean. And I have a little outline here, one second. So the other thing that has also changed for me is my goals have changed. So at the beginning of the year, I was very ambitious. I wanted, like, I had huge goals, like I want to make 100K in my first year of my career of being self-employed. And that was, I know it was an ambitious goal. I was into the law of attraction. I still am. But you know, that hasn't played out for me, and I know that there's a reason for that. Maybe that's not meant for me right now. And so over the past few months, as I have realized I want to do things differently, I've been going with the flow more and just taking it day by day and taking the pressure off myself, like to fulfill those huge goals I used to have. And it's just writing down goals like that, they don't light me up anymore. And what lights me up more these days is just going in nature and having quiet time. And I just spend a lot of time observing people and trees and nature. And that's what I prefer to do these days rather than making a lot of content or being on my computer sending a lot of emails. So yeah, I've just, I have more inner peace now than I used to. I'm more content with my life than I used to be at the beginning of this year. I mean, yeah, I'm very happy that I graduated. I had so many years of school, so I was ready to be out of school. Yeah, so I have been experiencing more inner peace and fulfillment, even though I didn't reach some of the goals that I had at the beginning of the year. And I don't know, it's just my goals changed. And if you're going through something similar, then know that you're not alone. And I would say that it's a beautiful thing that your goals have changed. That means that you are evolving and you're growing. And something I wrote down was, you know, if you stay the same person forever with the same goals and the same habits, especially, then your life is always going to look the same. Whereas if you let yourself change and grow and evolve, then your life will be more interesting, and maybe you'll try out more jobs, or you'll meet more different people if you allow yourself to go through different phases in life and not just stick onto one phase. Yeah. And let me see if I had anything else. And then I guess going deeper into what inspired this video for me was a few months ago, I was looking back at all the TikTok videos I used to make, and I'm still very proud of every video I made. But as I was going through them, just kind of like one after the other pretty quickly, this was late at night and I was just in a very reflective mood. And I was looking at my face and I was just like hearing myself talk and watching myself on each video. I was just like, this isn't really me. Like this is just a face that I'm putting up, and it's the best that I could do at that time. I couldn't do any better because I didn't know who I was at a deeper level. And I think as life goes on, as time goes on, you get to know yourself better, and you're always going to keep learning about yourself. That's another realization that I've had in the past month or so, is that there's just going to be a lot more to learn about yourself. And I want to go a bit deeper into that with like the spiritual aspect. So if you resonate with the term Starseed, then you know what I'm talking about, where we come into this human life, human experience, and we are put into a specific person. All right, hear me out. So our soul comes into this life and it goes into a certain person in a certain country. You look a certain way, and like you technically you signed up for this before you came into this life. I mean, if this doesn't resonate with you, that's completely okay. But if this does resonate with you, then what this means is that your soul is different than your ego, and your soul is different than who you are projecting on the outside. And so they're like kind of two different things, but I mean, everything is interconnected. But if you see it this way, then it started to help me understand myself. And it's also helped me get out of my own head, where if I start overthinking a lot or getting anxious, or having intense emotions, because I am a Cancer, I have very intense emotions, and I like it that way. It's very beautiful. And so I'm trying to allow my emotions to come and go more. I'll post more about that in the future, because emotions are important, and it's really important to feel them and release them. Okay, so going back to, so if you're someone who feels intense emotions, you get anxious or even depressed. Like, I've had depression, I've had anxiety very intensely. A technique that I've started to do, I mean, I don't know if this is a technique, but what you can do to get out of your head is say, like, okay, this is not my soul, like, this is not me. This is just the person who I was put into for this life. They just have a lot of self-doubt, right? And that doesn't have to control me. So I actually this came to me when I was actually seeing a psychic about a month ago. And she told me, like, oh yeah, your soul decided to enter into this person who doubts herself a lot. And she was like, that's the thing that you have to work on throughout your life, is you are going to be challenged with someone who doubts themselves a lot. Maybe that resonates with you too. But ever since she told me that, I've been able to get out of my own way more and remind myself, like, hey, I signed up for this. My soul, what am I going to say? Your soul doesn't have all these issues. Like, it's the human that you're in who has the issues. And it's the brain that has been crafted by your environment, a very specific environment. Environment creates who you are, it creates your personality. So certain things have been, certain experiences have created who you are. And so maybe you've had a lot of experiences that have made you doubt yourself, or have contributed to having a low self-esteem, for example. Or maybe you were raised in a way where you have become very confident. So it can go any way. But going back to what I was saying, we're each put inside a personality. Our soul comes into a specific personality. Maybe it's someone who has a lot of self-doubt, and so that is going to be one of my challenges. And there are other things too. And I mean, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and so I think it's important to realize, like, you can get out of your head when you're feeling confused about who you are, when you're feeling dissociated, or just any sort of thing. You can get out of your head. I would recommend meditation. I meditate pretty much every day. I like to do it every night before bed. And just allow yourself to change, and allow yourself to release old goals that you used to have that no longer resonate with you. And I think when you do that, you'll feel a lot more inner peace. I know that when I've had conversations with people, especially family members, where I tell them, like, well, for one thing, I used to major in physics. So I had a lot of conversations with my parents about, like, I don't know if I should keep majoring in physics. it was putting a lot of pressure on me and I didn't feel aligned. And I think they told me like, hey, like, Joanna, you can switch your major. It's okay. It's okay to change. And that's one thing where when I went and, changed my major and I met with an advisor, it lifted a lot of pressure off me. It made me feel so much more weightless. Like, it lifted a weight from me. So with that example, if you've been carrying around something, if you've been, trying to hold on to something like your major or, I don't know, a certain personality trait, or maybe what industry you want to go into, you keep telling people, I want to go into textiles, I want to go into textiles. But on the inside, you're like, that doesn't excite me, or that doesn't resonate with me anymore. Allow yourself to change. You can just let that go. This is about detachment, detaching from whatever is bringing you down or whatever is bringing weight on you. I think it's really important to live free-spiritedly and to allow your soul to expand, allow your soul to breathe. And I think that is where I'm going to end today. So I hope that you got some good takeaways from this. I would love to know what resonated with you the most. So comment down below anything specific that really hit you, resonated with you. And yeah, I want to do more content coming soon, specifically about emotions. So let me know if that interests you. And follow me on Instagram. I'll put the IG handle down there, but it's just at JoannaLeslie_. And that's it. Also check out my website, which is, I'll link down below, joannaleslie.com. So thank you very much for watching this, and have a beautiful rest of your day.